Oh, I wasn't. Oh no, I wasn't. I'm on my Ryan Walters. I'm on my Ryan Walters. Oh boy. Turn that monitor off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn that monitor off. Let me tell you, it was the Liberal Teachers Union that put that in the monitors. It was the Liberal Teachers Union. They come into my dreams. They come into my fantasies, and they turn it into something dark. Oh boy. If you guys haven't seen the video for today, it was about the Oklahoma State school superintendent, who's wilding. Honestly, credit to Regina for staying on me about that dude. He's wilding, man. I can't. It's criminal that I didn't get around to him till now. And by the way, the leader in the clubhouse now has gone unaddressed for far too long. By a country mile, the leader in the clubhouse is Caroline Levitt. Far too long. I have tried to do a Levitt video multiple times, but again, to quote myself in responding to Trump when he said, "Why y'all bringing Epstein up now? But you name me the quiet week when I can go back and take care of old business." You know what I mean? You name me the quiet week where I can just go handle some old business. I haven't had a chance to, so he keeps getting kicked down the road. That Caroline Levitt, I got to get at her, and I got to holler about the black farmers, and I definitely got to holler about the black, some of this black diaspora war is going on. By the way, I have a members video. Addressing some YouTube on YouTube crime. Miss Ray's going to enjoy it. I have a members video coming out addressing some YouTube on YouTube crime. Be on the lookout for that. I want to welcome Mr. Sai. Welcome, sir. Kayla, I got two welcomes for you, Kayla. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or if you hit the button by accident, you canceled it and was like, you know what? Let me give it a try. let me give it a try before I go ahead and cancel. Well, welcome, Kayla. Welcome. Nikki. Yes, I am still Waters. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on. Frederick, have I watched the new South Park episode? It was great. Now I gotta watch my tangents today because I'm very excited to bring on a guest. I know I say that a lot. It is true today as it has been true in the past, but very excited to bring on today's guest. You know how it is when people booked and busy. You know what I mean? So she's coming on early because she has to get out at 9. So she's gonna come on any second now. So I gotta watch my tangents. But to answer your question, Frederick, I have not had a chance to watch the South Park episode, and don't ask me about Sinners neither. Here's the thing. The number of things that I never actually watched, but I feel like I get it, so I will speak like confidently about. I'll speak confidently about a lot of stuff. Not important stuff. Not the stuff that I talk about on the channel. I don't want you to get. I'm talking about like movies and like if you ask me about an album, I heard a couple of songs. I got it. Cool. I've not watched the South Park episode yet. I need to watch it. I will watch it. My wife makes fun of me because I love battle rap, but I'm the one that loves battle rap. I watch the battle rap bloggers, but not the battle raps. Like I watch the coverage. I watch the coverage. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I got it. And then the problem is because to watch it, it takes 100% of your attention to watch it. You know what I mean? But I can just have the analysts on in the background. It's kind of like sports as a segue into where we're going to go tonight. AC Rock, give liberal teachers a raise, thus save the Lord. I'm not mad at that. I am not mad at that at all. You say you got to get on sentence. Yeah, I do. But see, now, if I would have watched it when it first came out, then I would have felt motivated. Oh, I could talk about it. South Park. Oh, I could talk about it. I'm gonna go, but I can't. I'm too late. It's like me going back and watching Titanic. You know. But why is YouTube doxing, folks? Who's YouTube doxing? Let me find out. TP, I appreciate you, sir. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Always appreciate your support. By the way, be on the lookout. Those of you that are over on Patreon, be on the lookout for the newsletter, which is going to drop tomorrow. And shout out to Regina for working on that. I also have a new video ending alert. So I'm going to edit that as soon as I get off of the live, in addition to recording a video all about Lauren Boebert family picking up more charges. Y'all know I couldn't let that go. Y'all, come on. You knew I couldn't let that go. You know what I mean? It's like Lauren Boebert to me, it's like when you go home and see family for Thanksgiving and you hoping that your mama's gonna let something go. You know what I mean? Like you come in with Mad Dog or Thunderbird on your breath, or you come in with a significant other that's either not melanated enough or too melanated, and you just trying to act like it's regular. I'm looking at Lauren Boebert exactly how your mama look at you. So you thought I wasn't gonna say nothing, huh? Huh? Thought I wasn't gonna say nothing. You thought you were just gonna pop up, and it wasn't gonna be. That's what we're doing now. That's what we're doing now. We picking up charges. We picking up more charges while we point the finger talking about somebody's DEI and unqualified and ghetto and this, that, and the other thing. That's what we're doing. Okay. We'll have to address that. Just like Ryan Walters, okay? Just like Ryan Walters. I'm not like excited to talk about what happened to somebody's son picking up a terrible charge, but you have forced my hand. You leave me no choice based on your own arrogance and hypocrisy. Like, what you want me to do? What you want me to do? So, not melanated enough is wild. Yeah, I may have some experience in one of those. Yeah. There's that. By the way, I have another video coming out, which I'm curious. You know what, Miss Ray, we need to put a poll out. Maybe we can do it tonight. I want to put a poll out of how y'all feel about the whites only settlement in Arkansas. How you know, Nikki? Nikki, hi. You was looking at my notes? Yes. No. Failing the GED 3 times and talking about somebody else DEI is insane. That's insane. You know, you would think that if you slid into Congress after having just passed your GED after 3 tries, I would keep it quiet. You know what I mean? I would keep it. I'm here to learn. I'm just here to learn. You know, I'm here to learn. I'm here trying to slide through so I can win that second election and then I get the lifetime benefits. You know, I'm just here trying to slide on through. You know what I mean? Common sense would say keep it quiet, keep it casual. You know, not Boebert. Not Boebert. They are a completely different breed. Shout out to New Brunswick. Is that New Brunswick? In Canada. Yeah, shout out to Canada. Shout out. Failed GET 3 times where the question is different. I was just thinking about Canada the other day, man. I have had some good time. Canada, actually, more of a shout out to Canada. If it wasn't for Tony Kornheiser waving the Canadian flag at the end of every episode, that would be my thing. I love Canada, man. I really do. I have probably been to Canada. It's a little inflated. Whatever. I'm in a good place. I want to leave this live in a good place. I've probably been to Canada 25-ish times. Somewhere in the 25 range. A lot. I'm a fan. I've always had a good time. I have always had a good time. Now let me see if I got a note on Instagram. All right, I'm all good. Okay, no, we all set. We all good. Yes. I would love to know, because I want to put a poll out, how you guys feel about the white settlement in Arkansas. The whites only settlement in Arkansas. I'm curious. Unfortunately, you said Reese, province is important. Which ones? I've been to Manitoba the most times. I know it's random. If you are Canadian, you know how random it's random. They got a club up there I used to go to. Made friends. I've been to Manitoba the most times. I've been to Ontario a rack of times. I've been to BC a couple of times. And then I went to don't tell me the French joint. It's not Newfoundland. It's not Alberta. Ontario, they always beefing. Ontario and the other one, they always beefing is Ontario and Quebec. Is it Quebec? Is it Quebec? I think it's Quebec. Yeah. I'm smart. See, Lauren Boebert, I could pass the GED first try. I'm sweating already. Let me make sure I get my. Hold on. All right. So yeah, I have made my way around. I made my way around Canada. I've done some things. See, I'm sure you'll love it. Yeah, I did. Oh, I think you talking about centers and whatnot. Okay. I heard the new Fantastic Four was good too. I'll check it out. I'll definitely check that out. I'm always good for a superhero movie. especially now that my kids are getting into superheroes. My son is really into Spider-Man. I never understood how effective the brown, melanated Miles Morales. Miles Morales, he loved him some Miles Morales. He don't know nothing about how new that is. Works perfectly. It works perfectly. Now that they are like into such things, I'm on to checking that out along with my son. All right. Jemele, you good? Okay. Oh, I think she's good. Okay. All right. We got a little backstage. That was me peeping behind the curtain right there. Ray, appreciate you, sir. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. Much appreciated. All right, y'all. Don't y'all embarrass me out here. All right. Don't y'all embarrass me out here. Okay. We've had this conversation before. And mostly, mostly you guys handle your business, but we got company. I told you, take that stuff off the couch. Take that stuff off the couch. All right. Don't make me have to come back here. All right. Y'all keep it cool. Keep it classy. Keep it classy. Keep it casual. All right. Without further ado, I would like to bring in somebody that I look up to. Truly one of my mentors. You can catch her on CNN these days. You can catch her writing for The Atlantic. You can catch her right here on these YouTube streets as well. Somebody who you guys know and love, and you guys have been talking all about her in the chat. Jemele Hill, what is going on?
Hey, what's going on, Reese? Good to see you.
It is good to see you as well. And I need to start with an apology to you because as somebody that I felt very close to when we were at ESPN, once that layoff happened, there's been so many times that I wanted to reach out to you and wanted to connect with you, wanted to ask you to come on whatever thing I happen to be involved with. But my ego said, no, it's got to be something that's worth her time. It's got to be something that's worth her. Again, like I just had a conversation with them backstage. I didn't want it to be something that would reflect poorly on whatever it was that you guys saw in me. And whatever potential you guys saw in me. And as a result, I didn't reach out, and it did a disservice to you and to myself and to the relationship. So I apologize for that.
Well, thank you for that, but I feel like it's an unnecessary apology. Like we are meant to lead many lives along this career. And, like we all have been through some ups and downs, and how you tell who your real people are the people who support you through whatever. So never feel like you shouldn't or can't reach out to me regardless of what you're doing, no matter how big, how small. I'm here to support you. So that should never have been a concern of yours.
I very much appreciate that. And also, I forgot to mention Emmy nominated as well.
Emmy nominated.
Emmy.
Well, not just the Emmy nominated. I'm an Emmy winner already. Oh. This could be my second one.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had to boss up on you a little bit. Yes.
No. I love it. I absolutely love it. Really enjoying what you're doing out here. In fact, I had to represent, South Carolina, the South Carolina National. Growing up with relatives in South Carolina, we'll never have nothing to brag about. So I said, we going to drag Dawn Staley. We going to drag this. I don't care. I mean, last time we felt pride was when Jadeveon Clowney hit that dude from Michigan. That was the last time we had reason to feel good about ourselves. And I say we. I grew up in whole Maryland. I say we as somebody that tried to cape for South Carolina for years when I was growing up. So,
yeah, no, and it's funny. I was at that game when Jadeveon Clowney hit the old boy from South Carolina. What was funny, I was doing sideline reporting then for ESPN Radio, and right before that play, the players on South Carolina were actually arguing, and because the game, I don't think they felt like the game was going well in terms of like I don't think they really. Their physicality, like I don't think that they were they were really focused. And it was a couple players on the team. I don't remember if Jadeveon Clowney was one who had to get some folks' attention. And so like that was actually going on the sideline. Then that play happens. And it's kind of like that was the jump start that they needed. But seeing where South Carolina women's basketball is really incredible. I've known Dawn Staley for years. And when I've known her since she was a player in the WNBA. Of course, like a lot of people familiar with her as a college player. I mean, what she did at Virginia, she was National Player of the Year, like just an incredibly talented person. And to this day, Dawn Staley holds the distinction of being the only person in the history on earth who ever ran a Boston on me. She ran a Boston on me.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
This is the true story.
Oh, wow.
Like, she was a player for this thing. I was covering the WNBA was the first pro beat that I covered. And I think it was me, her, a vet named Rhonda Mapp, who sensational college player, played for NC State. And I don't remember who my partner was. Probably blocked it out of my mind after you get a Boston run on you. And and you don't think Dawn is an assassin, like competitive. And she always had the mind of a coach. I mean, that was what made her a great point guard. So it doesn't surprise me that she's having as much success as she's having right now.
The two big winners are whoever your partner was and whoever old boy was from Michigan, that they remain unnamed. They just walking around. I
can't remember either name. I cannot remember either name.
They walk around just free. Okay, while we're on the topic, I was going to bring this up anyway, but since we're here, we're talking about this. Nobody could have predicted that the Caitlin Clark experience was going to be exactly what it has been, right? Mm-hmm. But in terms of how people have reacted to her in this culture and climate that we're in right now, that probably would have been somewhat predictable, but maybe not to the degree. I know this is a very big tent picture, but I got limited time, so I just want to get your opinion on what the reaction to Caitlin Clark on all sides has told you about where we are right now as a country.
Well, race has always been intertwined in the underbelly of sports. We know this. I think Eddie Murphy used to joke about like what happens when you have Black people and white people boxing against each other. The whole joke about how, white people got a little too confident after they saw Rocky, right? And so
Rocco.
So this has always been an underbelly in sports. Sports, even though a lot of it is meritocracy based, that doesn't mean that it is devoid from some of the same issues that we have in society. And so the problem, and I would say this relates to both Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, is that they both, once this happened, the John Cena and the national championship game happened, they became avatars for groups of people. And for Caitlin Clark, she became an avatar for white America, and especially for a lot of people who have often had very negative feelings, a certain amount of venom when it comes to Black women. They were able to express that through her because in their mind, the villain in her story was a Black woman, and Angel Reese. And that narrative has continued into the WNBA, where there are people who are making Black women the villains in her story along the way. And it's unfortunate because as somebody who's watched the WNBA since its inception, fans have wanted them to get to this moment where they're being appreciated, more people are watching, more interest. But the downside of that is that there are some pretty terrible narratives that are surrounding the league, jealousy and all this. And it's irritating for me to see people who have never really talked about women's sports, never covered women's sports. They suddenly have all these opinions about the league in itself. And I know to some degree that's what we do. We're going to have opinions about things and a lot of things. But when you don't have that kind of institutional knowledge, that shows up. And seeing how nationally the narrative has been driven by people who don't cover the league, as in the people who actually cover the league. It's been disappointing. But what it said about America, not just beyond the division, it has really helped to focus who people have a problem with and why. And you see this come out when in women's sports all the time, but I think it's especially acute now in the WNBA. You saw the reaction to the "Pay Us What We Owe Us" t-shirts. The trigger word for everybody was "oh," like "oh, how dare this league that," and this is a mentality that unfortunately is very prominent in all of women's sports. Y'all need to just be happy we let y'all bounce the ball. Be happy we even let y'all play sports. And now you got the audacity to say you are owed something. Why, yes, when there's a nearly $3 billion media deal that's kicking in next year, you do owe. That's the way this works. And so, Caitlin, through no fault of her own, because whenever she has made comments talking about how like she understands her privilege and all, that she's very grateful.
I was gonna say,
yeah,
even when she tried to say I don't rock with y'all, they told her to shut up and dribble. They were like, oh, nah,
Mm-hmm. 1,000%. And like suddenly all them same people that was riding so hard when they thought she stood for certain things, again, things she's never said, right? They just assume you white, you from Iowa, you play for Iowa, yeah, you one of us. And she was like, oh no, I'm not one of y'all like that. And I really feel a lot of sympathy for her because you could just like she just want a ball. That's it. She doesn't need people out here unnecessarily throwing capes down over puddles for her, trying to treat her like she's an infant. She with the shits. She like to give it as good as she get it. And if anybody's watched her for any span of time, you will see that come out on the court. So this idea that she is somehow being abused and mauled, and these Black women in this league are physically belittling her is a joke. And it just feeds more into how a lot of people, even some of our people, carry a particular disdain for Black women.
1,000%. And I think along those same lines, somebody that I actually did not, I'm here with Jemele Hill, the ubiquitous Jemele Hill. I learned in radio. Some people just tune in. You got to repeat that. I see, and you learn. I didn't overlap with RG3. I think you might have because you were there longer than I was there. But the conversation surrounding Caitlin Clark that RG3 got into with Ryan Clark and they're going back and forth and all that kind of stuff. And that was a whole mess. But one thing that it highlighted for me is just how, whether this is surrounding Caitlin Clark, whether it's surrounding Caitlin Clark or issues with race and sports in general, the lack of nuance that people are able to swallow and absorb in discussing these things is wild. Because Ryan Clark did a whole compliment and somehow it came across as disrespect just because he referenced her. But yet you can have your wife sitting here glad handing while you do all of this and nobody. I'm like, how? You know what I mean? Like, what is our level of media literacy? It's crazy to me.
Well, I don't even know if that was a question of media literacy or a question of the fact that again, this is part of that narrative building from people who frankly are not qualified to speak on this conversation culturally or even from a basketball standpoint. Because my whole thing with RG3 was say whatever you want. And his idea that, him saying like Angel Reese, you could tell she hates her. So what? What if she did? And I mean, people in sports hate each other all the time. Let's not start talking about these old NBA beefs that's still alive to this day. I mean, if Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas in the same room, they might fight right now. Okay.
Right.
It's what it is. And so when you were talking about what does this tell, when you asked me a moment ago, like, what does this tell us about this country? One of the things I should have pointed out, and I should point out now, is that it's told you about what people's ideas are for how women should compete. And that's being challenged all the time by this league, by Caitlin, by Angel, by a lot of women in this league who are showing that they have a lot of the same tenacity, some might say pettiness, as some of the male athletes. And there's this idea that women are just supposed to be above it all. Let's say they can't stand each other. Like, so I thought y'all liked that. That's what y'all keep saying. I keep saying one of the issues you have with today's athletes, they too chummy, they get along, they work out together, but it's different now. Like now you want to move the goalpost. And I don't even, if there's anything that I can pick up from and that I've observed that Angel Reese doesn't like, is the fact that she has been reduced to this side character in this larger story of this prominent rookie class that came in that is together. And it's fine if you want to put Caitlin at the leader, that I think she's earned that, is together they're taking the WNBA to a unforeseen level, a level we haven't seen yet. And I could definitely understand why it would be upsetting and irritating that if every time I do something is within the context of Caitlin Clark's story. Like, they asked Angel Reese about Caitlin Clark, not the other way around. And so if you're dealing with that constantly, if the reason you're being harassed, and she, I remember when she broke down in college, her final press conference when LSU was eliminated from the tournament, and they didn't give Angel Reese any grace whatsoever. And not the overall media, but there was some national media that didn't. And I think you know who I'm talking about. And that's part of that same vibe. Is that, what do y'all have against her? Is it the confidence? Is it the fact that she is not shy about telling you what she is about and not shy about telling you how good she is? And she would tell the other ladies on the court the same thing. I don't know what it is, but sometimes there are people who are just extraordinarily bothered by a confident Black woman. And I thought RG3, the optics of what he said is, again, he's allowed to have his opinion, but the optics of having your wife in your amen corner and then the whole neck roll, I just thought it was very unbecoming. And I was glad that Ryan addressed it. And I knew that as soon as Ryan brought his wife into it, I was like, oh, this is about to go to another level. even though I did understand his larger point. His larger point is like, by all appearances,
he said shit more than that. But I'm like, you can't say that. You can't.
I mean, he just was like, you ain't even really got the cultural credibility to be in this conversation just based off who you married to. And not saying as a Black person, but just like, what is your authority or credibility with Black women if you're not living with one in your house, or if you're not in close relationship with one, maybe other than your mama? And so I knew that conversation was going to get off track as soon as that was said.
Well, look, on behalf of the fraternity, we don't claim RG3. And you got to pick. You pick your spots. You pick your spots. I don't be, you know what I mean? I don't run up and talk about it. You could have just sat there and ate your food. You didn't have to say nothing. So
he did kind of jump off the top rope where it was like, where'd that come from? Like, okay, you just, all right, just Jimmy you just Jimmy Superfly Snooker in this thing. All right, I got you.
Now, just pivoting over to the politics side of it, right? Because you said something where you talked about how people perceive the athletes in the WNBA, and I think you could say that across the world of women's sports, right? There's a different lens that people view them through and interpret their behavior through because they are in fact women, which to me, what it triggered in me was this video. I know you probably know about that whites only settlement in Arkansas.
Yeah, I do.
Right. Mm-hmm. Where the women take care of the children and do all that stuff. And I keep trying to like, this was their plan for you. This is their plan. This is my question, Jemele. How can we just isolate and project the level of misogyny and the preservation of the patriarchy that is so inherent in a lot of these MAGA bros and right-wing movements, and just try and wedge away this support that they get from people that are moving against their own best interests?
So this is what I wish more men would understand. The patriarchy is killing y'all too. And I know that the spoils of it in the moment seem so much greater than the downsides. But and I'm not saying that men don't need to provide, and that's a part of being a man. I get that, but the provider narrative and the emotional suppression and all these other things, I was like, it is sending a lot of men to an early grave. And what is very clear between the MAGA men and even the trad wives, right, the traditional wives, is they're going to hold on to a white supremacist ideal even if it kills them. And the reason you constantly see those same groups of people voting against their own interests is because they have not realized yet how much white supremacy has cost them too. It's not about the damn. I mean, white supremacy has damaged us considerably, obviously, but they don't even see the ways in which it has prevented them from mobilizing in this country, upwardly mobilizing in this country, because they've allowed people with far more means and access and billionaires and the people who have everything to gain from the division to successfully convince them that the reason that they don't own a house, the reason that they don't have whatever their version of the American dream is because we're preventing that. And what's unfortunate in the way that white supremacy is able to weave and splinter itself is that there's a lot of us that are beginning to adopt those same ideals. And the tool they're using is immigration. And I have heard far too many Black people, for my comfort, talk about how these immigrants that are showing up and undocumented people, how making them the reason we can't get reparations. I'm like, I hate to tell y'all this. They could all disappear tomorrow. Just like Thanos could take them all out in a snap. They not giving us the reparations. We got to fight for that. Like that, those things aren't connected at all. And what happens often in capitalist society is that it becomes a fight for resources and crumbs among the people who are getting their ass kicked by capitalism every day. And I just see so much of that, in our country, and especially with them, because, they trying to hold the line like, oh yeah, this is what I voted for. I promise you didn't. You ain't got enough money to have voted for this and to be able to survive it. I promise you did not vote for this. And it's unfortunate that we as a country are going to learn a very horrid lesson as we are in real time. It's not like it's just starting now, but like we're learning by degrees, and but we are literally witnessing the crumble of this empire thanks to the pervasiveness of white supremacy.
Thank you very much for that. That's the clip. That's the clip right there. We clipping that. I gotta tell Miss Ray that's the one.
And let me just add this real quick about that all white community that's forming. And I need some Black people to understand this too, is that the reason we fought for integration wasn't because we just wanted to be so close to white people, because we just needed to be in their personal space. It was about resources. Separate but equal never happened. And sometimes I find some of us sort of romanticizing what that time was like, saying like, oh, we were better off, integration. It's like integration was not about us wanting to be closer and more in proximity to whiteness. It was about the fact that literally they were going to drown us out from the resources. Like we couldn't get them. And so the only way to get them was to sue them, march against them to give us access to better stuff. And what's so funny about seeing these white people build this community is like, we have tried to do this 11 times in this country, to be separate and apart. And every single time they done burned it to the ground. Every time. Like, oh no, you never had to convince a lot of Black people that we needed some separation. We needed a break. We needed to go on like a relationship break from the white people. You have never had to convince us of that. And so it's just funny to see them in real time. And notice, here's the difference. Notice ain't now one of us outside their little community picketing. We ain't filing no lawsuits. We ain't doing shit. We like, be blessed. Be blessed. Right. Meanwhile, let the Fearless Fund create a venture capital fund to help Black entrepreneurs, and they suing like that. Right? Let there be some, now at the federal level, some program that might give us a little bit of a benefit or a boost or uplift us in a way to address some long-standing inequities. They suing tomorrow. Every time we try to do something separate and apart, here they come. So I hope they take the lesson from this, because we NAACP ain't showed up. They ain't issued their statement. Nothing has happened. We like, go ahead, be blessed, be fruitful, and leave us the fuck alone.
Well, once I got past all the jokes where everybody was talking about hosing them down, and once I got past all of that, I was like, yeah, to your point about the times that we've tried to do that. But the other thing is, they're already talking about expanding. They're already talking about building
already?
little. Oh yeah. They're trying to go into Missouri, because right now they're in Arkansas. They're trying to go into Missouri, and he saw a settlement in South Africa, and it's basically like a whole little city with metropolis and whatnot. And he's talking about he's trying to build it up. So they're all like, oh, well, we ain't trying to go in the woods. I'm like, they're not trying to stay in the woods. That's the thing. That they had to start in the woods. They're not trying to stay in the woods. So if that becomes something they're able to do, just imagine what money there might be out there for a legal ability to exclude certain people based on certain things. Just use your imagination what that might turn into.
Well, I do know this is like, I've said this in terms of what a Democrat attack plan could be. Should they ever get into a leadership mantle, a powerful one again in this country, is like, y'all need to run a playbook. Like, that's what you need to do. And so what I would say to Black people is, hey, let's keep that same energy. Let's find us a little plot of land, build us a Blacks only, and we'll see how far we get with that. All right, we'll see how far we get. But at some point, and it really will be interesting to see how this idea matriculates, because historically, we have proven we don't need them. I don't know that they've proven the same thing.
Now, I know you gotta. I have to ask you this question. I need to know what your reaction was in the room whenever it was that you saw the headline, or maybe you heard him say it on his own show, that Stephen A. is holding the door open for a run at the White House, and then consequently, people are claiming that he is a front runner for the Democratic nomination. I just need your raw reaction to it. That's all.
I did chuckle a good bit, and I have a really hard time believing that he would be considered a front runner for this. And if he is, we cooked. We not just cooked, we boiled, sauteed, and stewed. If that is the case, but it's part of a larger issue, which is that Donald Trump, unfortunately, with his high level of incompetence and recklessness, has probably convinced a lot of people that have no business doing that, being a president, that they can do it. I mean, if I were Stephen A. and looked at Donald Trump, I'd say, why not? Why not me? If that guy can get in there, at least one thing is for sure. Stephen A., the reason he is become the face of ESPN is that man know how to talk, and he knows how to talk in sound bites, and he does his TV thing very well. I have no doubt, like in a debate, he might dress somebody down, because this is what he does for a living. But I will say that I just think that in certain conversations that you should probably shut off. And I wish he would not have allowed that one to go on as long as it did. I have a hard time that he's just going to leave this $100 million he just got from ESPN. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's looking to leave that, even though politically you can certainly make your share of money, and it does take you into a new stratosphere, because you go from being a name known in maybe one particular world to becoming an internationally known person just by virtue of running for president. But I just found it amusing. That's the best way to put it. I found it very amusing.
I mean, I'm like, bro, I've never seen a Democratic nominee only go on Fox News. Like, I didn't know that I didn't know Sean Hannity was where you launched such a thing. And then Trump talking about, I would love to see Stephen A. Smith run. I never knew the president from the opposing party to nominate whoever is going to pick from the.
Which lets you know, yeah, because sometimes as a reporter, I used to think about this myself, is that when certain people agree to sit down with you, especially if, let's say, they've been in some kind of trouble and they're really trying to do damage control. Mm-hmm. You have to wonder in your mind, why did they pick me? Like, why did they pick me? Right. And if Donald Trump is encouraging this, you have to wonder, why did they pick me? Yeah. Why did you think this was a good idea for me to do this? Very interesting.
Yeah, this is that old, what did they least want to see you do? And then proceed that way. I know you got to go, and I'm not going to get in the way of what you got going on. I just wanted to tell you, thank you so much for coming by, because this was a real treat for me. And what is it that we can, that you're working on that the people don't know about yet that you want to throw out right now?
Well, one, thank you for having me. I insist you have me back when I have a little bit more time. Today has just been a little bit of a fire show, but in terms of, promoting, is that, I have my podcast, Politics. It's a sports and politics podcast. It's available every Thursday on iHeart, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. This week's podcast is going to be really good. Jason Wilson, who I know a lot of people know about, he had a 30 for 30 on him, The Cave of Abdullah. He speaks to men's mental health, like just a really good bro. A lot of people probably saw him on All the Smoke. Great guy. He's a guest this Thursday. And like you, I also flirt in these YouTube spaces. So feel free to tap in and subscribe if you're out there. My YouTube is Jemele Hill. And of course, you can find me on all the socials. Just Jemele Hill, nothing tricky. So, I really thank you for having me on, and so grateful that you have this space. And you got to have me back.
Absolutely.
And, this again, for sure.
And make sure y'all check that out. I know you had an episode that you did a few weeks ago about the camp, a football camp that was being opened up to LGBTQ youth. And in light of, this was one of the things I was going to ask you about, but in the Christian Wilkins story and the fallout from that and the ramifications that this is how far that can go, right? Where a whole dude is cut just based on this vibe. So looking forward to what you have to say about that.
We'll pick that one back up for sure.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Take care.
All right. Y'all did good. Y'all did good. Give yourselves a round of applause. Well done. Shout out, Ray. Thank you for showing love. Much appreciated. Thank you for showing love. Classy. Now I'm going to pull an Oklahoma. What does that mean? I mean, I know what pulling an Oklahoma means, but just in this context, I don't know. Would you just going to have a side screen? I didn't get the reference why I had the Joe Montana jersey. I had the Joe Montana jersey because she's a 49ers fan, and I was trolling her because they just gave Brock Purdy $60 million, but they couldn't pay Joe Montana. They couldn't pay Joe Montana, but they paid Brock Purdy. I wanted to troll her for that, but I didn't get a chance. Jonathan, I appreciate you, sir. Thank you, Jonathan. Mimi, this is a great conversation. I appreciate you all. Thank you, Mimi. Thank you so much. LexCorp, that's the damn truth as far as the pervasiveness of white supremacy. 1,000%. 1,000%. I think I might clip her answer and put it in that video, actually. It was that good. I might have to record like a little something. And I think that's tomorrow's video too. Yeah, I might have to clip it and put it in there. Great conversation. I love that she came through the drops of knowledge. Respect. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you very much. Miss One, thank you. Respect. Stephen A. would be a Manchurian candidate. That's a good movie. The original one and the remake I have seen. If you really want me to see a movie, put Denzel in it. I will go see it. If you really want me to see a movie, put Denzel in it. And by the way, I'm just off to the races. Now, we just going, this basically going to be a members live for the next 30 minutes. We just going to shoot the breeze. Because normally the guest goes to the end, but we just going to shoot the breeze now. So first of all, Flight was a great film, but at no point while I was watching Flight did I did see Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2, I liked it, but it wasn't good. You when you like a movie and you know it's not good. It wasn't good, but I did like it. At no point while I was watching Flight did I think, oh, this is gonna be this movie's full of memes. At no point did I think that I was gonna be seeing Flight clips all over my Instagram. The scene where he says, "I'm drunk right now. I'm drunk now. I'm drunk right now." I've seen that so many times. Where he drank the water, he said it's all about when he was testifying. And the number of times that I have seen that and not busted out laughing is a whole zero. A whole zero. They batting 1,000 on them memes. Them memes be hilarious. I'm drunk right now. Every talk about when you in your 20s and somebody says, "Hey, let's go get a drink after work." I'm drunk now. I'm drunk right now. Yep. 1,000%. I did watch Roman Israel. It was a little off-putting that he was so awkward in that movie. But yeah, I watched Roman Israel. Yep. I've seen that. I need to rewatch. Thank you, RS Ellis. I appreciate that. That's P-Dag says, "I'm drunk right now." That's funny. That is very funny. Now I see why y'all were saying that YouTube is doxing people. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know why that is. But Soldier Story. So I clipped some stuff from a Soldier Story about a month ago to use on one of my video endings. And I guess because I searched it, it got into my algorithm. And so it started feeding me like Soldier Story content. Clearly, I need to rewatch that movie. I mean, I need to rewatch that movie. Oh, you know what I saw? Oh, snap. There's this channel called Recap and Chill, I think it's called. They took Rock, the show Rock, with Charles S. Dutton. They took all of the scenes with Andre Thompson, the drug dealer. Okay? Which was some of the most terrifying times of my childhood was when Andre Thompson would come through. I thought that Rock was about to get shot up just in my living room. Like I thought it was, I was legitimately terrified whenever that would happen. They took all the scenes with Rock and Andre Thompson and just spliced them together and made like a 40-minute video of just Rock and Andre Thompson go. It was fire. It was fire. I was like, yes. He said, I was in college when that aired. I was a very young, impressionable child who literally thought that something might happen to Rock. Especially when it was Rock Live. I was like, oh, Andre might cut Rock. You know what I mean? I thought something was going to happen to Charles Dutton. You know what I mean? I was like legitimately terrified for Rock. And hide Eleanor. Take Eleanor upstairs. You can't have her exposed to Andre Thompson. Equalizer 1, 2. Yeah, all the equalizers were fired with the caveat that the equalizers had a little shaft with Samuel L. Jackson going. He was too old. He was too old. You can't, Denzel. I can't do it. He was too old. Look, if you're going to be in the action movie, you got to be the demolitions expert. You can't do hand to hands. No, you got to be the demolitions dude. All right. Always look forward to your content. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Jonathan. Much appreciated. Have Jemele back. She cooked. Oh, absolutely. No, she was unbelievable. Namaste. I like that. Natural. This is so informative. That was a dope combo. Thank you. Yeah, it was. I learned a lot too. Araceli, I appreciate it. Karen, thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. The only movie that can get away with an action hero who couldn't have done anything was Dolomite. Dolomite just made it absurd and silly, and I commend them for that. I mean, he was out of shape. He was winded. You could see the boom mic. You had people just jumping into his foot and jumping into his punches. Like, that's what. Then you just go that route, which is fine. I got no problem with that. Dolomite. That's why Dolomite is a classic. You said don't cook me, but Queen Latifah isn't good as an equalizer. I've only seen a few episodes of that. To me, well, I don't know. I haven't really watched it, but when I see the commercials and the previews for that, it looks like she's doing too much hand-to-hand combat. Queen Latifah should be in the demolitions portion of her career. And I say that as somebody who was never not in the demolitions portion. I could never do the hand-to-hands unless you were going to pretend like I knew some sort of martial arts. Maybe you could be that, but no, we do demolitions. we just got to press buttons. You just assume that they are genius, and then they just got to press buttons. That's the way to do it. Did CBS cancel it? I bet they did. You mean the same CBS that canceled Colbert? I bet they did. That don't surprise me at all. Not one bit. By the way, if you guys haven't gotten a chance to watch Cam James' latest video, it's very good. I highly recommend it. His last two videos, actually. I've gotten a chance to sit down and watch, and they were really, really good. So make sure y'all check that out. All right. So what do we got going on? What has been left unaddressed? We got to the whites only settlement. We talked about Oklahoma. Shout out to Scotland. I don't know if we have any people that are here in Scotland, but I do want to just really give y'all a solid shout out on the reception to Donald Trump. Amazing work. Really amazing work. Honestly, I wasn't familiar with your game, but y'all are killing it. I mean, that is a different type of trolling y'all are doing, and it couldn't have happened to a more deserving man. It couldn't have happened to a more deserving man. So check that out. shout out to Scotland for that. I do have a piece coming out about Byron Donalds. They did a poll in Florida, and Byron Donalds was trailing Ron DeSantis' wife, and she hasn't even declared for the race yet. She ain't even in the race. This man lose it. She ain't even in the race. Oh my gosh. I did see that. I did see that. I did see him drop. I gotta find a way to use that. Bro, he ain't even in the race. So that video is coming out. So be on the lookout for that. And then I have a piece when I did the video about Jubilee and the Mehdi Hassan, taking on the Crazos. I actually shot two. I shot the one of the guy that got fired, but I shot a whole separate one where everybody else, just to see like how legitimately unhinged everybody else really was. And people's pushback on Jubilee, the question being, should these people even be platformed? Right? Are you complicit just by platforming this insanity? Even if you don't consider yourself to be a supporter of this insanity. So be on the lookout for that. So that was coming up too. Have you ever seen Disco Godfather? It's hilarious. I have not. Disco Godfather. Oh, that's in 1979. Oh, that's old blaxploitation. Rudy Ray Moore was wild, man. Street Meat. They had a guy named Street Meat. Nah, I can't watch nothing with Street Meat. I can't watch nothing with Street Meat. I just looked it up, and they had a character called Street Meat. I can't do that. We can't do Street Meat. I did know that. Yeah. After I watched Dolomite the first time, I got curious, and I looked him up. And this was during the early days of me doing stand-up. So, yes, Rudy Ray Moore had a whole... I don't know if I would call it stand-up. It was kind of spoken wordish, but yes, he was a comedian of sorts. And that's how you make a comedic masterpiece. That is Dolomite. And I mean a masterpiece. You can be as funny as Dolomite, but you ain't going to be funnier. I guarantee you that. That's on the short list. That room was full of racist asshats. I saw. Yes, it was. Yes, it absolutely was. I don't even think that guy was the worst one, if I'm being honest. But, you're splitting hairs there. I adore Mehdi. He does amazing work and gives a voice to so many important views. Agreed. Biscuit Bandit. I definitely started that video. Hey, Byron! Yeah, I had to start it like that. I've never said Byron as much in my entire life as I have since I started making these videos. Oh, man. No, it is. His name was legitimately Street Meat. You probably watched Get Smart, Reese. I think that's one of those black and white shows. That's one of those black and white shows used to come on Nick at Night. That's what I know. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. Classic. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker is one of the funniest movies. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker and Don't Be a Menace got to be two of the most underrated movies of all time. Especially Don't Be a Menace. But I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker is fire. Yeah. I think I prefer Don't Be a Menace because it was lampooning movies and a culture that I remember. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker is talking about blaxploitation films, which I kind of get it, but I kind of, I don't get all the references. Or at least I didn't when I first watched it. But Don't Be a Menace, I got everything. That's amazing. That's what that Bernie Mac clip. I hate your black skin. I hate my gums because they black. I hate Whoopi Goldberg's lips and the back of Forrest Whitaker's neck. I mean, really, Forrest Whitaker, the back of Forrest Whitaker's neck can't be. This is a comedic lesson, right? The back of Forrest Whitaker isn't that dark skinned. So the back of Forrest Whitaker's neck is not that dark. But the back of Forrest Whitaker's neck sounds hilarious. There you go. There you go. The back of Forrest Whitaker's neck sounds hysterical. Sometimes it's just how it sounds. That it hits that hard. Mehdi said on Ali Vishy that he was surprised with the racism. I wouldn't have been. Not on that platform. Oh my gosh, Black Dynamite is amazing. Black Dynamite is amazing. That's also one of the most underrated movies. I'm honest. That Black Dynamite, I should do an underrated movies. Black Dynamite is very, very funny. Yeah, I'm gonna say most underrated movies of all time. It's not gonna be a lot of ours. I know that. Dead Poets Society, is that underrated? Gattaca's really good. Dread, yeah, there's no black movies. Yeah, it's not gonna be ours. The Mummy, Independence Day. Okay, this was a waste of time. Say most underrated black movies. Poetic Justice, that's not underrated. That's garbage. Clockers, was Clockers good? The Inkwell was very good. Undercover Brother, that's not underrated. That I didn't like that. Dope, I didn't like Dope either. Who did this? Crooklyn? Underrated? Life is not underrated. People love Life. Life has a 6.8. Okay, then it is underrated then. School Days got a 6.1. Wow. Out of 10. Oh, okay. I thought, okay. So that's, it says Sparkle had a 6.7, which would have been higher than School Days or okay. That's the original Sparkle. I thought that was the remake of Sparkle. The remake of Sparkle is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. And just know when I say that, when I watch the remake of Sparkle, I had enhancements. So it was getting a lot of help just in terms of my level of enjoyment. I had enhancements. And at that time in my life, I would regularly watch Ladies Man starring Tim Meadows and A Night at the Roxbury. And what else was I watching? And like Jerry Springer. Like the things I was watching for entertainment at that time in my life were sufficiently low, given the enhancements, for me to not enjoy any movie in that phase of my life. It has to be dog crap. It has to be dog crap. And the Sparkles remake was that bad. It was that bad. All right. Let me go ahead and go. The Wood was good. We can talk movies. We can definitely talk movies next time. That's how I learned about colorism. Sparkle? How did I learn about colorism? I feel like I always knew about it. I didn't learn about it from the movies. I learned about it from elementary school. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely said T.D. Jakes was the person behind the remake of Sparkle. Well, everybody that saw it needs to get their money back out of his collection plate then. I should be able to go to T.D. Jakes' church and get my money back, if that's true. Nonsense. Boomerang is a classic. Yeah, I would definitely not say Boomerang is underrated. Rebound, The Legend of Earl the Goat Man of Gold. I've seen that. That was very good. That was very good. No. That's another one like Sparkle. If I didn't think it was funny, I mean, I literally thought, what was that? World Star Hip Hop, anything on World Star was hysterical at that point in my life. So, yeah. Monsters Ball. I need to rewatch Monsters Ball. I think the whole love scene with Halle Berry and Billy Bob Thornton got me distracted. That got all the attention. That was very off-putting and uncomfortable for all involved. I need to go back and just watch the movie just, in its own right. By the way, apropos of nothing, since it is propos of something, because I just had Jemele on, and very, very grateful that she was able to stop by. Billy Bob Thornton, because when you go to ESPN, it's before they got wise, which was way too late that they got wise, and they just decided to use their LA studio for celebrities. They would bring them up to Connecticut, and they would do what's called a car wash. Because when you get somebody in this remote place in Connecticut, you just have them do all the shows while they're up there. So they didn't go up there to be on one show. They get to be on all the shows. So I got to be a part of that. So whenever people came, I would get time with like all these different celebrities that came by. Billy Bob Thornton is on the short list for the coolest, most personable, humble, down-to-earth guests. And I say that knowing that people are media trained and they can like put on. But I'm talking about cameras off, just in the hallway, casual conversation. Billy Bob Thornton is on the short list. The other one would be Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe and Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah. Shout out to Daniel Radcliffe and Billy Bob Thornton. All right. And shout out to Jemele Hill. Oh, Derek Money coming through with the sponsorship. Derek Money. Derek Money. Derek Money. Derek Money. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate you, sir. Derek must represent Daniel Radcliffe or something. Or Billy Bob Thornton. As soon as I say that, he's like, finally, somebody said what needed to be said. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, man. That is Harry Potter. That definitely is Harry Potter. All right. On that note, be on the lookout tomorrow for the Whites Only video or the Byron video, or the Jubilee video. One of those three will drop tomorrow. Those will probably be the next three. I'm gonna throw Bobert in there somewhere, and then we'll see. we'll see. But shout out to y'all for coming in. Definitely gonna clip that Jemele link. That was fire. And hey, man, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that we had an awesome episode. I'm thrilled that you guys enjoyed her as much as I did. And I'm thrilled with the current state of things. So, other than the current state of things, I'm thrilled with the current state of these things. I'm thrilled with the current state of these things. These things is a whole mess, but this is cool. So I appreciate y'all for that. Shout out to everybody in the Mod Squad, Deshauna, Miss Ray, Roberta. I was like, Empress Chernobyl. When did Empress Chernobyl get a? I think we got hacked by Empress. Oh, that's Chernobyl. Thank you, Chernobyl. I got nervous. I said, Miss Ray giving everybody wrenches. Thank you, Empress Chernobyl. I appreciate you. Shout out to the Mod Squad. Thank y'all. All right. Here we go. Welcome, Mr. Sai and Kayla, and welcome again to Kayla. Thanks, Nikki, Frederick, AC, TP, Frederick again, Ray, MJ, Jonathan, me, Lex, Jonathan again, Miss One, Get Musty, Namaste, Where's Waldo, Aracelis, Jonathan again. Shout out to you, Jonathan. Karen, Get Musty again, LexCorp, Get Musty, and Derek Money. Shout out to you. And also, if you were a recipient of one of Karen's gifts, send her some love in the chat. This live was sponsored by Derek Money and Jonathan. Shout out to y'all. Much appreciated. I'll see y'all tomorrow for the premiere. And I'm going to jump over in the Patreon chat for a little bit as well. So if you have a membership over at Patreon, which you can get a free membership, participate in the chat. And also, if you get a free membership, you get the monthly newsletter, which comes out once a month. But those that are looking for the weekly newsletter, you subscribe over at Patreon. That one comes out tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. All right. Thank you all for rocking with me today. And as always, soak your feet.